master the understanding, knowledge of self, one must plant the seed with the key of life to understand your divine purpose.
1. Ignorance, unawakened birth. The journey of the soul begins in a state of unawareness. Born into the physical world, the soul forgets its origin and enters a body shaped by environment, culture, and inherited belief systems. At this stage, existence revolves around survival, sensory experiences, and ego development. The soul is veiled, unable to remember past lives or the divine nature within. It moves through life, reacting more than reflecting, learning through trial and error. 2. Desire, attachment to the physical. As the soul grows into the world, it begins to crave what is seen, touched, and felt. This moment of suffering becomes sacred because it awakens the yearning for something greater. The soul begins to question, who am I? Why am I here? In this darkness, the first light of remembrance flickers. The heart cracks open so that truth may enter. The soul awakens to the idea that it is more than the body, more than a name. The ego fights this remembering, but the soul persists. It studies sacred texts, adopts spiritual practices, and seeks discipline in thought, word, and deed. Rituals, fasting, silence, and service become keys. The soul learns that freedom is not doing whatever one wants, but aligning desire with divine order. Initiation is the sharpening of the inner sword. This is the beginning of inner alchemy, the transformation from the unconscious life to the conscious path. Purpose is no longer about ambition or status, but about contribution. Some souls choose to return to the world to uplift, others to heal, to guide, to teach, to protect. The higher self, once a whisper, now speaks clearly. The soul has mastered emotions, mastered the mind, and understands that reality bends with intention. The soul no longer fears death, for it sees through the illusion of time. At this stage, karma no longer binds. The soul walks through life as spirit in form, untouched by praise or blame. It merges with the infinite, the creator, the source of all things. In Kemet, this is the field of reeds. In the East, this is moksha or nirvana. They incarnate as healers, prophets, inventors, revolutionaries, artists, and guides. These are the ones whose presence shifts reality. Their memory is intact, and they often feel like strangers in this world. But they are here by choice, embodiments of the divine among us. It is not heaven as reward, but wholeness, a return to the eternal womb from which all life springs. The soul remembers, I am all things. I am the one. It is not here to win, but to be. It becomes a mirror for others, a light in dark places. Not perfect, but powerful. Not dominant, but sovereign. This is the role of the bodhisattva, the ancestor, the sacred worker. Service becomes the soul's expression of love. Material possessions, social approval, pleasure, and power become sources of meaning. Toxic habits, relationships, and false narratives must be released. This stage is like fire and water, burning away what no longer serves and washing the soul clean. It is often painful, but liberating. The soul becomes lighter, clearer, and more aligned. The soul, entangled in illusion, builds its identity on things that fade. It finds itself in similar circumstances, relationships, challenges, or locations until the underlying lesson is faced. These repetitions are not punishment, but invitations to evolve. Without awareness, reincarnation becomes a loop, and lifetimes pass with the same wounds hidden in new faces. This attachment to the physical gives rise to karma, not as punishment, but as cause and effect. The more we grasp, the more we spin the web that binds us to rebirth. 3. Repetition, karmic looping. With each return to the physical realm, the soul carries the residue of unresolved emotions, patterns, and deeds. 4. Suffering, the call to remember. Eventually, life delivers pain that shakes the soul. A loss, illness, betrayal, or spiritual emptiness triggers an inner cry. 5. Awakening, remembering the self. Signs appear, dreams deepen, synchronicities guide. A teacher may arrive, or ancient wisdom finds its way to the seeker. 6. Initiation, spiritual study and discipline. With awakening comes the call to action. The soul no longer floats, but begins to navigate. 7. Purification, shedding old selves. As the soul deepens its commitment, it must confront its own shadows. Old wounds surface. The illusions of the ego dissolve. 8. Service, purposeful rebirth. Now purified, the soul begins to live not just for itself, but for others. 9. Mastery, one with the higher self. At this level, the soul is no longer reactive. It walks in balance, peace, and power. To master union with your higher self, cultivate self-awareness, practice mindfulness, and seek inner wisdom through introspection and spiritual practices. 10. Transcendence beyond duality. The soul no longer sees itself as male or female, black or white, good or evil. It understands that these are masks worn for learning, which comes with the challenges of that skin color to conquer and master by the soul within. Yes, the soul must overwhelm to achieve righteousness, not to submit to the benefits or challenges that are inherited by the skin we're in, but to bring truth, justice, order, harmony, law, morality, and balance to foster righteousness to that skin. 11. Return to source unity with the all after many lives. The soul no longer needs to return. 12. Voluntary return divine embodiment. Some souls, out of love, return voluntarily. They do not come to gain, but to give.